Welcome to part 3 of this game/community news video for Warhammer Online, and I'm going to be discussing topics such as this in the video, which is class balances, and I've also discussed about fortresses and against all odds and all this sort of stuff. Today though, I do want to talk about class balances. Now, I'm not going to talk about each individual class because A, that will take forever, and B, I don't know about all the classes, I only know about a few. But there is only really one class that I want to talk about in this video today, and that is one class that I play the most, well, used to play the most anyway, and I've got the highest renown rank on, and that's Chopper. When I first started playing Chopper, they were a medium class. You know, they weren't overpowered, they weren't underpowered. Choppers are shit now. Okay, now some of you might not like to admit it. Choppers can be good, don't get me wrong. If you're in the right group with really good healers and guards, they can still be good, but any class can be in that situation. But compared to Slayers, which is a Chopper's mirror class, there is no reason why you would choose I'm telling you right now, there is not one reason why you would choose a Chopper over a Slayer. And the reason for this is because Slayers have normal abilities such as they can deal, I can't remember what ability it's called, they can deal a really high damage hit in one hit in just normal ability on the player. Whereas Choppers, we get that as a dot. Now players can remove that dot, and even then it's not as powerful as the actual full ability that the Slayer gets. Is just a single hit one tick ability. It's little things like that which make Chopper so shit now. Now, before I wanted to moan about this, and I wanted to go and do some research about this, so I played my Chopper extensively straight for about 2-3 weeks in scenarios. Not so much open RVR, because classic balance doesn't really affect open RVR as much unless there's a funnel, because it's on such a large scale you don't really notice it. You're dead before you can. Or they're dead before you can. But really, what I wanted to touch on was the Chopper in scenarios. Now, this is where I did my research, and every single scenario where I was in with a Slayer, or with all the Choppers, the Slayer came out top. Now, not just top, they came out. There were about 40% of scenarios where the Slayer was doing double, and I'm not exaggerating, I mean they were doing double the amount of damage. This is crazy, folks. I'm going to provide some screenshots of the evidence of this, because I did a post on the forums about this and somebody posted some screenshots, and I've got some as well. It's ridiculous. There is not one single reason, I'm telling you this now, there is not one single reason why you would choose a Chopper over a Slayer. Slayers' class trees make more sense. They have more powerful abilities. Their tactics are better. They're smaller, so they're harder to target, but that's not really the main thing that makes them overpowered. Their gear stats are slightly better. It's in general, they're just there's no reason why you'll choose a. Now they did a patch. When was it? I think it was patch 1. I think it might even be patch 1.4. I think, and they made one of Chopper's abilities was an armor debuff they had. Well, they decided to scrap that and make it a healing debuff instead. Now, the armor debuff was remove X amount of armor from the enemy, okay, which was really nice for doing damage. Now, that ability is remove... that ability is now 50%... Healing is reduced by 50% on that player. So, it's basically a minus 50% healing debuff on that player. Now, the only difference between this one and the other heal debuff that Choppers get, I'd like to point out, they do get another heal debuff. So we've now got 2 heal debuffs. The other one that they get only works on healers, because that reduces the amount of heals they're outgoing by 50%. The one I'm talking about that used to be the armor debuff, was the amount of oncoming heals on that player by 50%. Now, making this, I think in 1.4, the Slayer kept their armor debuff and the Choppers lost it. I think now they've both lost it and they both made it a healing debuff. But nevertheless, why give us a healing debuff when we've already got one? And why give us one? Armor, taking away the opponent's armor as a melee DPS is more important. I think this was a massive mistake. And, you know, out of all the melee DPSs in the game, Choppers don't have to necessarily be the best, but why do they have to be the worst? They are the worst. Now, most players would agree with me on this one. Choppers at the moment are the worst melee DPS in the game, and a lot of people are arguing that Slayers or Marauders are the best melee DPS in the game. Now, I'd have to say it's a cross between Marauders and Slayers. Marauder isn't necessarily an overpowered class. I think you have to be good at the class to be overpowered with it. Because, like I say, some loony bins just run straight in and die, not thinking. Well, that's the same with any melee DPS class. But there is a massive problem between Slayers and Choppers in particular, and I'm going to keep focusing on that one because, like I say, there is no reason on this earth why you would choose a Chopper over a Slayer. I think Mythic really needs, because the White Line and Marauder are sort of, they're like sort of mirror classes ish. You've got Slayer and Chopper, and then you have Witch Elf and Witch Hunter. Okay, they're all the melee DPSs in the game, and Chopper is got to be the worst of them all. You know, they die easily with. Well, I mean, I've done scenarios when I've even had a guard and pretty good heals, and I've still died so easily. They die easily, which you sort of expect in melee DPS, but they have got medium armor, so you don't expect them to die easier than ranged classes, which is what I'm starting to see. They die easily, they do really shit damage, and when I'm in a group, when I'm in a warband or in a small group, I just feel pointless. I feel out of place and think, well, a Slayer could take my place and do much better, or a Doc could be worth more than me in this group. I just feel like a waste of a group member playing as a Chopper. There's nothing that I do which really tilts the battle. I mean, yes, I can pressurise the healers, but to get to them you have to get through everything else, and most of the time you get focused so much that you're dead like that. You're just dead. So, like I say, it is a major problem. Now, some of you may be like, oh, well, Choppers aren't overpowered, or they're not underpowered, or Slayers aren't overpowered, or whatever. Face it, they are. I'm not necessarily saying that Slayers need to be nerfed. What I'm saying is that Choppers need to be buffed to be brought in the same line with Slayers and all the other melee DPS in the game. You know, I don't want Slayers to be... Slayers are fine as they are. What isn't fine is how Choppers are. Choppers need to be buffed to be brought in line with Slayers and all the other melee DPS, because I just feel pointless when I'm in a group as a Chopper. And why should I be? You know, Choppers were a good class at some point. They were a really good class, and slowly over time they've just been neglected and nerfed for some reason, and it just seems, why have you nerfed them and not Slayers so much? It just doesn't make sense. So keep Slayers how they are, but I'm saying buff Choppers again. Make them how they were. Give them that armor debuff. Give Slayers the armor debuff if you want. You know, give them back make their abilities more damageable again. Make them in line with other melee DPS, because I'm near enough refusing to play my Chopper anymore because I just can't do shit on it. I have tried so many different setups, so many different classes, you know, stacking high parry and weapon skill with Riposte, doing two-hander spec burst damage, two one-hander spec high DPS. You know, I've tried so many different specs and none of them are working. I just can't top the damage of everyone else, and it's not just me as well. It's not just me being a shit player, although I am. It is other Choppers in the game that I spoke to who totally agree with this. And I'm just refusing to play my Chopper because I just feel like an absolute waste of time, and I don't have fun playing it now. There's nothing I do that tilts the scenario or tilts the game. So yeah, I'm not saying nerf Slayers, buff Choppers. That's the message I'm trying to get across. Thank you all for listening. I'd like to hear your opinions. You know, this is just my opinion. I'm going to say this isn't true fact, although it is true fact that Slayers can do near enough double the amount of damage, because there is proof of that. What I am saying is, you might not think that Choppers are underpowered. Well, I'm going to say they are, but you know, at the end of the day, this is still my opinion, so I want to hear your opinions too. Post a comment, and if you enjoyed this video, please rate the video, show your support and that you like these videos in this series, and I'll definitely make more. So next video I'm going to be talking about upcoming patches in more detail, and each individual topic within that patch. So I hope you enjoyed, and until the next episode, I'll see you later.